Right, what's happening, guys? Happy Friday, Good Friday, Easter Friday, long weekend. Doing exactly the same as you've been doing for the last 3 weeks. Let's get live stream number 6. I think it's 6, 5, 6, whatever it is. It's another live stream. This time we've got our man James White, Signalnoise. So let us get him on the stream and get chatting. Right, let's search for James. I know he's on. I know he's around. He's always around. He's like a neon-colored ghost. Signal noise. Right, bear with us, folks. Right, there he is. Boom. In there, like neon colored.
Oh, did it work?
What's that?
Wow.
Are you holding paper up?
Oh man, did it work okay? My tech is breaking down on me already. One sec.
Oh, man.
God damn.
Mate, we might have to start again. There appears to be like a grey screen with dark grey splodges all over it.
Really? Here I am.
There it is. Now I just see grey. Oh, beautiful. Oh, we upstairs.
Nah.
You're in the den.
I'm trying to get this thing working so it's right way around, but nothing ever works for me.
Yeah, we've got it.
Yeah, we'll do this, man. What's up, buddy?
Mate, long time no see.
Man, Al, I haven't seen you since 4 p.m.
Imagine it. Floating the roof. I've been looking through your window.
Yeah, that's right.
Hey, yeah, the last time, well, obviously, for people that don't know, you're based in Newcastle now, so we do tend to see each other at least once or twice a week.
Yeah, man.
Tends to be alcohol involved.
Yeah, man. When we're not on lockdown, we frequent the pubs for creative chat and adult beverages. So yeah, man.
Yes. So the last time we saw each other was probably 4 weeks ago, Mr. Pointer's show.
Yeah, that's right, man. I got my stickers here in the drawer as well, man. Yeah. It was, and it seems like a million years ago, doesn't it? Like that was, we were like, it was right before the wall got slammed down, wasn't it? That was crazy.
Yeah. Mate, it was I think it was a Thursday night.
Yeah.
We were outside a place called Stack, which for those who don't know is like a shipping container place, a bit like Box Park London, with loads of seating areas in the middle where you can sit and drink beer. And we were chatting about it, and it was all very weird. Like, should we be out?
That's what it was, man.
But we're keeping distance from people. And then it all shut down.
Yeah.
But yeah, fuck that shutdown talk. We all know what's happening there.
Exactly.
Let's talk a little bit about how we've got history, man. History like that Michael Jackson album, just without children getting affected.
Yeah, that's right, man. That's weird you brought that up. I listened to that album like last week. No joke.
Did you?
Yeah, man. I love that album. I got that CD when it came out, like the week that it came out in 1995, I think. Yeah, man. I love some Michael Jackson, man. His art is on point.
Mate, tell me about it.
Yeah,
an absolute classic artist, musician wise.
Yeah.
So let's talk about it. We've known each other since, I reckon, 2008.
Yeah, about that, man. It's whenever, like, because you emailed me initially when you worked at Computer Arts, right? And, yeah, because you were looking to get, it was a commission job. I can't remember specifically which one it was. You got me to do like the fake CD cover, like the album cover at one point, and that's the one. Holy crap, you had that on point.
Yeah, man. Mate, I've still got them all here.
Nice.
Mate, look at you there, man.
Wow, look how dark my hair is.
Yeah.
Crazy kid, man.
That's what time does.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was sick. that was like we used to run these things called designers challenges, wasn't it? Where they give an artist like a blank brief, as though they were getting briefed in from an actual agency or a record label.
Yeah.
But I was just looking as well, and like, mate, you've just blown up big time. Not since this, but obviously since all your hard work since this. Like, I'm looking at some of the other people, and no offense, like, and I don't think I've really seen any of their stuff again.
No, that's the thing. Like, I've done, like, we'll get back into our history in a second here, everyone. But yeah, I've many times gone back into those magazines to look up the people that have been featured, like around the same time, like during that Wild West, during like when blogs were everything, and like those late 2000 period. And most of them, I think what happened was they got scooped up by bigger agencies, and they became like a cog in the wheel, or they became creative directors. So it wasn't so much about their own work anymore. It was about the client work, because hey man, they're earning money and paying bills, man. You can't sneeze at that. So, but I think that's where a lot of them ended up. Yeah,
that's true, because to be honest, mate, I've not looked at these magazines for a long time. It's probably like 40 over there.
Oh yeah.
And I need to go through them someday and remind myself of some of the people that I used to regularly work with that aren't so visible now, like you say, probably in agencies or perhaps in prison. Who knows?
Yeah, there's a lot of designers that end up in prison, man. Yeah, we're a seedy bunch.
But I think that was the first time I ever gave you any cash monies.
That's right, man. Yeah, I remember doing that. You got a hold of me and said you wanted like 300 phrases designed in Chrome or some nonsense.
Oh.
But it was that was super fun, man. And actually, it's weird you brought that up, because I just saw that image really recently. I was going through some of my archives and came across that one. It might have been on my Behance or something like that. But for anybody here in the chat room, to catch everybody up on what we're talking about, Al was the first guy to get a hold of me right after I sort of made a name for Signalnoise, and Al was the first one to get a hold of me to put me in an actual magazine, because Al used to work at Computer Arts. When did you start at Computer Arts, Al?
So I was on Computer Arts Projects, which was like it was the spin-off of Computer Arts, and each issue was about a specific topic. So this one obviously was about print design.
Right.
The other one you did, this was about like learning to collaborate with people. Shout out Mr. Bowlegs, Joe there, who we did that with. So each issue is a different topic, but to rewind, I started in like 2008.
Right.
And then I stayed till November 2010. And then that's when I went off on the AnyForty journey.
Yeah. So that would have been like, if you started in 2008, like we would have been chatting like the year after, or maybe that same year or something. So
I think it was the same year, man, because I remember putting in, they had a thing called Showcase, which was at the start of the magazine, and would basically spend a week of every issue going through and trying to find work that we liked and then spotlighting it in the magazine. Right. And I can vividly remember putting in, there was the piece that you did, which was the Nike medal.
Yeah.
It was a classic chrome piece, but it had the like drips of molten lava coming off it. But then there was also like another mad one, which was circles, chrome circles, like intertwining into each other.
It was like a DNA, whatever they call those things, heat or whatever with Nike. Yeah, good memory, man. Jesus, yeah, that was fun. Like I had no idea what I was doing back then either, man. Like getting hired by Nike. Like I was way out of my depths on that one. Like they were getting me to like, okay, we want you to do your chrome thing, like go crazy. And they said you have like 4 colors to work with. And I'm like,
printing.
Yeah, like I'm like, all my stuff is gradients. Like, how am I gonna do 4 colors? And I was like super green at the time, man. Like I didn't know how to prepare a file for like screen print or anything. So yeah, that was a time, man. I mean, I know that I sent them files that their art department was like, what in the hell do we even do with it?
Mate, because that was well before the days when direct-to-garment printers were out. Like, I think that's to be honest, one reason. Like, we've known each other for a long time, and we've worked together on Rush and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But we've never actually linked up and done a T-shirt design. But I think a big part of that, not because I dislike your work, because obviously I love it, and I've got it all over the place.
Hey,
but I think
nice.
I think the big part of it was just I couldn't print your stuff for the bulk of AnyForty's life. I couldn't print it.
Yeah.
And it just wouldn't feel right to get you to do a design that didn't have the chrome and it didn't have the gradients and stuff like that.
I know what you mean, man, because whenever somebody, to this day, whenever somebody gets a hold of me and wants me to design something for like screen print, like a poster or whatever, I fight with it. Oh, like I can't wire my brain to think like a Dan Mumford, where he can go like, these are the 5 colors I'm going to use, and then he can create his brilliant works using just those 5 colors. I can't think like that, because the way I set up my files is just more color, more color, more color. It's more about the final image than it is the medium or the colors I use to get there. So it's like an inverted process for me when I'm doing something that's screen print. It's really hard, but yeah, man.
Yeah, it's just a different game, isn't it? Well, nowadays, like the direct to garment thing is a lot better than it has been. Like, you know, you run your own stuff through DTG printers, don't you?
Yeah.
And the quality is a million times better than it previously was.
It totally was. Yeah. So, I
mean, see where it's going to go as well. It'll just keep getting better and better, and it'll get to the point. I think, I don't know how long it'll take. Well, as long as we don't all get wiped out, but hopefully it'll get to the point where it might be any of us can spend like $2,000 one day and get our own direct to garment printer. Print your own clothing labels, like wind it back to the bootleg days of when you could screen print your own stuff in your garage.
Yeah, dude.
And post it out.
How sweet would that be, man, if we all had our own printers that were like this big or whatever, that we could just run our own artwork through and have like G-Clay style prints, like on demand, ready to go. Like that is the ultimate goal, man. So yo, shout out to Tim Mueller down the chat there. By the way, everybody, we're gonna do like a Q&A at some point during the chat, right? So if anybody has any questions, like keep them on deck, and we'll fire off in a little bit. So
that's definitely, that's coming from a Instagram live expert like you and Gav. How many have you done now? 84.
Instagram lives, just with Gav, we've only done 3. But I'm gonna try to do more of them. That's like drawing Instagram lives, because I did one like last week or a week and a half ago, and it was super fun, and a lot of people came and hung out with me for an hour or two, and I was just drawing Fulgore from Killer Instinct.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it was super fun, man. And I mean we were talking about this, how this medium has become such a like center stage thing now with the circumstances that are going on out there, and it's great, man. And I mean, hey, you're no different, man. Like, you got a goddamn series on your hands now. So
yeah, man.
Yeah.
Well, it's something. It is something I've been wanting to do for a while. And Melbs, who was the first artist we spoke to, God, like 3 weeks ago now. I had a chat with him ages ago about doing a podcast, and it felt like there's artists all over the world that I've worked with and know, and they've all got incredible stories, and they've all got incredible things to talk about.
Yeah.
But it's to do a proper podcast, you feel like, as you know, you've got the setup, haven't you? You've got your proper microphones and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's interviewing people around the world just feels too complicated. It's like, I might have an incredible microphone here and sound like clean and perfect, but then you chat to someone who's in Russia or someone that's in Paris, sounds like they're speaking through a potato, and it'll just it feel mismatched. So the Instagram live is perfect for that, because we've all got phones.
Yeah, that's right, man. And it's so easy to set up, and it's just like, it's just hang out. Like, I like this medium because, you know, it's just like these are conversations you and I would have just at the pub, you know, just chilling out, talking about art, talking about the past, you know. Yeah, it's great, man. Yeah, it's great. So good on you for doing this series, man, because you're right. You got a network that's goddamn vast. So yeah,
it's just nice. And it's just nice to catch up with people, isn't it? Yeah. Like we say, we're quite lucky. We catch up with each other a lot, and obviously your good wife, Naomi, who's a very, very great friend.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of people that I deal with regularly that I just don't get the chance to speak to in life. Like, chatted to Fricks last week over in Miami, and that was great. Never spoke to the dude before in my life, apart from working via emails and Instagram messengers to then speak face to face. It's brilliant. But anyway, enough about the AnyForty stuff, because that's boring. So we got a relationship back in 2008, 2009 with the computer art stuff.
Yeah.
So special shout out to Kate, who was the editor at the time, and then Nick, who was the editor, and Julia. That was a great team to work for.
Yeah.
And sadly, I was chatting to Naomi today. Computer art is closed down now.
She told me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been a victim of the this pandemic. So
God damn, that sucks, man. Like me and Naomi were talking about, like computer arts back in like the 2000s, especially, were just such a pivotal part of the design scene. Like that is the
yeah,
place that you would go to. Like there, sure, there were blogs and their social media was just kicking up a storm, but back then, like when you, if you got into a magazine, that was like a feature. You know, like
yeah,
that was a stage then that you were on, and
yeah.
that is something that just where are the stages now, man? Like, is there any like all information is so freely thrown around on the internet that is there any like where do people go to get featured, to get their art featured, get a stage? What
This is the thing. I remember. So I left in, like I say, November 2010. So mate, that's a decade ago. But even at that time, we were having discussions all the time. Like, right, you can't rely on just showing good work, because good work, you can go on Behance, you can go on Instagram, and you
yeah,
can see it. You have to offer insight into the behind the scenes of how work is created, or the person's studio space. Give people an insight that they can't get elsewhere.
right.
But I think it's terribly sad, and I feel for those people losing their jobs.
Absolutely.
But things will. It's what happens. Think businesses that they were run by a big company, Future Publishing, and to be honest, Future Publishing, hopefully I'll not get sued for this, but I know they've been struggling for the best part of a decade with redundancies and restructuring.
Right.
So you never know what's going to come from this. Someone that worked on that magazine will still have the passion for it and be like, fuck it, I've got loads of time on my hands. I'm starting like a zine. You know about zines. We'll talk about that later.
Sure, man.
But something will rise from it, or someone will start a new blog up or an Instagram account where they're sharing stuff. So something good will come of it.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, that's way too much of like. There's so much skill that's now dispersed from that ceasing publication that there's no way that that can't, you know. I was going to say pollute. That's not the word. Pollinate.
Politics, yeah.
It's going to pollute the scene. Yeah, there's something will come from it.
Yeah, something good will come of it. You might not feel like it at the time, but it will.
Yeah, yeah.
So just in the comments, I see Cam's popped in. He's talking to your good lady wife. So that was, let's just jump forward from 2009 to the end of 2010, and we'll go to the Meet conference.
Yeah, dude.
And ran by Cameron.
Yeah. Cam, that's down in the chat right now, man. Yeah, and it's kind of his fault because, you know, that's the first time you and I actually met, like met, because we've been in touch for what 5 years at that point, and then yeah, and Cam ran the Meet conference. We were both speakers up in Aberdeen, Scotland, and yeah, I ended up meeting you for the first time there, and my goddamn future wife as well. So Cam,
your wife,
my wife. So Cam, this is all your fault.
It is, mate. I've got a lot of respect for Cam putting on that event, because it's obviously quite a daunting thing to do, but the people he pulled together for it was ridiculous. Yep. It was like Draplin, Jam Factory, Naomi, yourself. I can't remember now. Just bare people, just lots of creative people. Yeah, me. To a little place in Scotland called Aberdeen, where I'd never been before.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. It was a great weekend. And it's just the fact that you met your wife from there.
Yeah, and of course nobody would have known that like way the hell back then. But yeah, it's just and Radham as well. Yeah, thank you, Nick.
Oh yeah,
of course,
Mr. Brand New.
Yeah, yeah.
That was me and Radham were out till like 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, that's it. You can't follow Radham, man, because that guy, like, he's you can't match him drink for drink. That guy's made of steel.
Well, that was my first ever talking experience. Well, my first and pretty much last ever talking experience. But that night out helped speak the next day, because it just deaded any nerves by feeling horrendous.
Right.
So let's get on to obviously, like, we could just chat for hours, mate.
Yeah. But
let's get on to speaking. Like I say, that I've only really done like 1 or 2 talks, but you're a seasoned professional, man. How many talks had you done before the Meet conference?
Oh man, Well, to date, like right now, I think I'm up around 66 or 67 talks total. Ooh. But I don't know before the meet conference. I think the meet was right in the middle.
Right.
I think so. Maybe 30-ish or something like that. I know that I was doing a lot of speaking around that time. So, you know, getting on stage was just, you know, it was second nature to me at that point. So it was just, I run through everything, hope my jokes land. And yeah, so up until that point, I was doing a lot of it. Yeah, I was doing a lot of it. It was all over the world too. Like, I don't know, the one I did before that, I think it was like Copenhagen or something or whatever. It's pretty crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, because there seemed a time when you were just all over the world, man. And I know you still are. You've got things booked in. Obviously, like the wheels have come off a little bit with the lockdown.
Yeah.
But there is going to be events happening again. Like we're off again in hopefully September.
Yeah.
You're speaking there with your partner in crime, Gavin.
Gav Strange, man. We're gonna do Hustlemania on the stage. Hustlemania 2020 if it goes down.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun, man. And yeah, the first time that me and Gav did that, like we had no idea. And I've said this story a few times, but like never joke with Gav about anything, because by the end of the breakfast or dinner or whatever we were having, he had like the name and the logo and like the intro sequence animated. Well, maybe not that far, but yeah, man, he was just on it. He said, "This is a great idea. We need to do this." And then next thing I know, we're on a stage in Barcelona. It was wild. So yeah, man, never joke with Gav, because he'll make it real.
Yeah, I think Gav's level of energy and enthusiasm is different to normal people.
Oh,
he's not normal.
He's not normal, man. Like he makes I'm pretty sure he rocks like a 28-hour day. You know,
yeah.
He finds other hours somewhere like under couch cushions or something, and puts it to work, man. Like, yeah, I don't know how he does it, but man.
I know, and he's got a wife, he's got a kid, and he's got a full-time job.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. It's putting people to shame.
Yeah, dude, it's wild. Yeah. Yep, it's crazy.
So okay, so that's about the talking, and we kind of spoke about how we met in Aberdeen.
Yeah.
Kind of kept in touch since then. How are you finding? Because obviously you're from Halifax, Nova Scotia,
Dartmouth,
Canada. Dartmouth. I knew it was Dartmouth. Where did I get Halifax from?
Yeah, Halifax is the sister city to Halifax, so it's like.
Oh yeah, Halifax is when you jump on the ferry to go.
Yeah, exactly. So like Dartmouth is Gateshead and Halifax is Newcastle, to put it in perspective. Yeah. So I'm from the rough and tumble city.
And you've been coming to Newcastle, haven't you, for the last, Jesus, 4 years?
Yeah, dude, it's been a while. Yeah, and back and forth, which is awesome. So when I moved here for real last August, it wasn't like culture shock or whatever. It was, I was already used to everything around here. I already had my favorite pubs and whatever else. So yeah, had a ready-made friend group already here. So it wasn't it felt like a wild transition, because I was moving here permanently. That wasn't like I'm not going to be here for a month and a half, have to see everybody, and then leave again. So which helped. I mean, to spin it around to creative projects and stuff. It helps being in one place, obviously, to do creative stuff. But here, it's a lot easier to do like merchandise, because you can do anything you want to do on British soil, right? Where back in Canada, it's such a big country, it would take like the shipping to get product or whatever sent to you was so astronomically high that it just didn't make financial sense to do it. So here is awesome. Like when I hit the ground running, like doing the zine was something I just couldn't do back in Canada. So it's been awesome creatively, because now I can design something, have it printed, and have it in my hand within a week, you know?
Yeah.
Whereas back home, it would take about 5 years.
That's something that I think we're quite lucky in England and the UK, that the fact is it is such a small country, and you can get the majority of things made here.
Yeah.
Might cost you a bit more than getting something made in China, but you can get pretty much everything made here.
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
It's awesome, man. And it opens up so many doors to like us creatives, right? Like trying to find, like you can find any product out there that will service your brand. So like I can get 80 sunglasses with the pink sides with my logo on it. And you know, like nonsense like that is wicked. And any print material, like you know, dealing with print companies, dealing with like on-demand print companies is awesome. Having something printed in like 3 days and in my and I have 500 of them, like that just doesn't exist in Canada. Like especially where I'm from, down on like the unemployed East Coast, you know, like there's nothing there, nobody there that can handle that sort of volume. So yeah, it's great. And I'm not throwing shade at anybody in Halifax or any print companies. It just the system here is different, and it's a lot quicker because there's the population base to support it. So yeah, which is
it's just the difference in industry, isn't it? It's like if you move, like we're both into toys, be it designer toys or figures, He-Man figures, Master of the Universe figures.
Yeah, dude.
But if we lived somewhere like China, or we would just be churning out toys all the time.
Oh
man,
man,
how easy it would be. But that's because they're set up like a different way.
Yeah, 100%, man. I was doing a talk in the Philippines, in Manila, one time, and the dudes, I think, I'm gonna blank on their name. I think they create a figure called Tofu. It's a little square guy with a face on it. I think I can't remember the name of their company, and they're the sweetest guys. But they're from, I believe they're in Tokyo. They're in Japan, I think. And yeah, man, and they have like a complete toy line of this. Like it's something like, it reminds me of a Kid Robot figure where it's a little square, it's a templated figure, but they just do different paint jobs throughout the series. So you're right, man. If we lived in a place like that where we had readily available Japanese vinyl, like at our fingertips, and they can just churn out stuff, that would be so great, man. We just don't have that system here.
But again, kind of going back to the print on demand stuff, we've got all that to look forward to, man. Like the fact that 3D printing, like I'm not hugely up on it, but like you're seeing with this pandemic at the moment, there's people at home, like there's people on my estate making masks, and sending them to like the local surgeries and the doctors, and they're able to print them at home. So we've got all this stuff to look forward to, I think. I know it feels like dark times at the moment.
Yeah.
Like we were always promised like hoverboards, flying cars. But I think we're just going to get the ability to make stuff from home.
Yeah, dude. Well, there's going to be, you're right though, man. There's going to be like some really positive changes that come out of this, you know, and that's what I think, you know, we as creatives have to focus on. How is the industry going to change for the better? You know, this whole thing is shedding light on the practicalities of working remotely. So like, what kind of a positive effect is that going to have on our industry? How is merchandising going to change? Like, what are turnarounds going to be? What creative people, like this might be the fuel that creatives need to like do their own thing, to realize their own creative voice, or to do their own products, to do their own art. And it's going to change with the communication like this. Like, I think like, yeah, I'm inherently an enthusiastic, optimistic guy anyway. And I think there's going to be some silver linings to all of this stuff that that we wouldn't have had otherwise. No. You know, we just have to get through this.
Yeah, the like it's incredibly frightening times, and there's some people that are kind of shutting down or letting everyone get to them like, oh, I've lost another client job, I've done this and that. But I think if you just try to stay as positive as you can, sit down and work out what it is you like doing and what you want to do more of, the majority of creative people can turn this into a bit of an exercise of pushing yourself forward. I think
so too, man. And you know, and I don't want to ignore you know, the anxiety level that this causes as well, you know, because there's been a lot of people online that are talking about like encouraging people to make stuff like we're doing right now. But also me and Naomi had many talks about this. Like if you're having a down day, take a day, you know, because this is very weird, heavy things that are going on. So if people need to just, you know, chill out and watch some X-Files or something, like take a day, and watch some X-Files. You know, we all have to take care of ourselves, like here and here. And we need days, we got to take those days as well. But ultimately, like, and I think you and I are built sort of the same way, how, you know, we're workers. Like we're happiest when we have something that we're making. And I inherited that from my mom and dad. I mean, they are working all the time. They always have something on the go. They always have a plan. And, you know, I inherited that from them. So I'm at my happiest making stuff. And that's why you see like issue 3 of the zine is being made. I'm on YouTube. I'm doing stuff like this. I'm releasing new art because that's how I process what's going on, right? And I think like we're seeing a lot of that online. There's a lot of creative output coming out, and at times of great strife comes great art. So
yeah, man. And I think as we all know, Instagram and social media, you have to remember people have, I don't know, fucking, sorry for swearing, 16 hours in the day. And just because someone's releasing a t-shirt a couple of times a week or some other stuff, you have to remember that they're not getting up in the morning, they're not sat at their computer, they're not a machine. Like, there's days like there was a couple of days last week when I just didn't even get changed properly. I just got up, had like my comfies on, lay on the sofa, did some work-related emails, tried to chase some work.
Yeah.
But and then went out on my bike. So to the outside, anyone that's seen like my personal Instagram, they're like, "Oh, he's doing live streams. He's riding his bike like X amount of time a day. He's walking the dog. He's having a fucking whale of a time." But this is it. It's highlights, isn't it?
Well,
and don't like you said. I guess it's a long-winded way of just saying, don't feel bad if you just have to lie on the sofa and watch Tiger King for the fourth time.
yeah. And no, that's totally it, man. And like every single creative person processes what's happening differently. So, if your process is sketching or whatever, then sketch. But if your processing is just trying to keep things level, and we got to take care of ourselves, and we got to take care of our situations first and foremost. And everybody processes this stuff differently, and everybody needs as much slack as you can give them, especially now, to just like do your thing, do what makes you happy. That's number one until the fog clears a little bit, right?
Definitely. So talking about doing things off your own back, like it's not a recent thing, but you talked about the zine. So you've previously released two copies of that?
Yeah, issue 1 and issue 2. They're backwards on the screen right now. Yeah, man, it's been the most fun I've ever had on a project to date. And for anybody here in the chat room that doesn't know my zine, it is 40 pages each. It's like I'm releasing an art book in issues, like a comic book, like a Nintendo Power magazine sort of thing. Every issue of the zine comes with, I got my stuff here, one sec. It comes with like extra little freebies. Again, it's backwards, but I have a hell yeah sticker and a little trading card that comes along with these. And this stuff is like, I'm a big fan of Nintendo Power magazine and Wizard magazine from back in the 90s. And those magazines always shipped with trading cards and stickers and just like, bullshit that nobody needs, but but that is such a collectible, nostalgic thing for me that I really wanted my zines to kind of come with that, and even doing like a little silver sticker on the cover and things. And this is my way of releasing an art book, but making it collectible, so you can actually collect issue to issue. And these things are available. Store.signalnoise.com is where these things are. And just to give a little bit of a preview, like I put in these, what's a good example? Yeah, here we go. I put in these like new work, of course, but also old drawings and stuff. Like Dick Tracy and whatever. And but there's also new work in here. So that's my Judge Bitch cover, a Metallica poster. And there's stories in here about like, stuff that funny stories and anecdotes that happened to me throughout my career and things. And yeah,
I've got the 2 copies of it, and it's brilliant, and it's affordable art as well, isn't it? Tell the people how much it is.
Yeah, it's the first issue number 1 is £8. This one here comes with a sticker, comes with a card, and this one here is £10 because it comes packaged with a mini zine.
Yes.
That is the Inktober 2019 mini zine, where I drew image comic book characters every single day. So this is like 36 pages or whatever, so you can get like those image comics drawings. And of course, the last one is goddamn Spawn. So, yeah, so that one there comes packaged in with number 2, and that one's £10. So yeah,
brilliant. And maybe can't even buy you and your friend a pint for that these days. Bargain.
Yeah, that's right. This is more nutritious for you.
Going to you quickly mentioned Nintendo Power. You've also got a series that you've been doing on YouTube, which is super slick.
Yeah.
And you had a how long are they on for? An hour?
Yeah,
that's the one.
Like, yeah,
Donkey Kong Country.
50 minutes or something like that. Yeah.
So you recently had an episode on Donkey Kong Country. Do you want to tell the people a bit about the YouTube series and why they should check it out?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, and again, super fun doing that series. So it's youtube.com/Signalnoise. If anybody in the chat wants to check that out. Is for the channel, I'm diving into the archive in behind me, and some things I'll pull, like I just showed this. So Donkey Kong Country is one of my favorite games from back in the day, and I have all of my Nintendo Power magazines still, and I thought it would be really fun to trace the release of Donkey Kong Country going back in time. So like they started advertising it in June of 1994, and I traced it through those pages all the way up to the release in November of 1994, just because I was there, I experienced it. I had the hysteria of Donkey Kong Country in my brain. It's in my DNA. So that's one example of the kind of things that I do, because that's a point in my life that inspired me creatively to this day.
Yeah.
So the YouTube channel is going to be that. It's going to be some hyperlapse drawing sessions. I'm going to have some digital creative process stuff where I go through Illustrator and Photoshop. My new video is going to be out Sunday. That's my newest video, which is another half-hour creative piece where I build a piece through Illustrator and Photoshop. And it's meant to be, if you get the zine and you see the work in here and read the stories, the YouTube is going to be like or it is a more fleshed out version of the content that you find in here. So they go.
It's almost, to me, it feels like taking it back to like you say, when you used to buy like I didn't buy Nintendo Power magazine, but I remember buying certain magazines. Off the top of my head, I can't remember what they were, but I remember them coming with videos, promo videos, and you'd put them in and watch like trailers and stuff, and it was just like, it was a nice interlinking companion piece, really.
Yeah, 100%, man. And that's the thing, like nostalgia's powerful. We all have things from our past that we value, but for me, because I have like this archive, like I have most of the stuff I had when I was a kid, I still have to this day.
Yeah.
For example, here's one example. Let's see. One moment. Yeah, here we go. So when Batman 1989, the movie, came out, yes, we loved the movie and stuff, but I'm nostalgic, yes, for the movie, but I'm also nostalgic for stuff like this. Right? So this is the official souvenir magazine from the first Batman movie. And I had this when I was a kid. So this is as important to me as the movie itself, because it reinforces that feeling, right? So if I'm looking at Donkey Kong Country, it's not just about the game. It's about all of the marketing around it that conjures this sense of nostalgia, this sense of longing for the past. So this is the kind of stuff. And I have loads of this garbage.
Yeah, well, this is the beauty. Like we've spoke about it recently quite a lot, but there's no denying that your work's heavily influenced by your childhood, growing up in the 80s as I did. But especially with things feeling kind of dark and a bit anxious at the moment, we've been talking loads about taking trips down memory lane, and it's a weird feeling. It's almost like a weird comfort, isn't it, to look back at stuff that you loved when you were a kid?
Yeah.
Because I've got that Masters of the Universe poster in my hallway with all the characters on, and I bought it like 6 years ago, and I look at it occasionally. But when we've been talking about Masters of the Universe, been going back and started picking up toys, started getting that book that you recommended and reading up, and the more you look back and research things that you did as a kid, the more triggers like little memories. Like I can remember in my nana's garden playing with like the He-Man figure with the squirty, the sprout spout, man at arms it's brilliant. It's like I think it's almost worth recommending to people if you're feeling a bit shit or overpowered with stuff. Try and remember stuff you liked as a kid, like whatever it is, man. Even cereals and just we've had a mad talk last weekend all about WWF, like. Ending up just watching wrestling on the evening, like 1990s, 93 Royal Rumble and SummerSlam.
Yeah, man.
And it's an incredible feeling, but it also might strike ideas that you can use in your work for future stuff. And again, something we've been speaking about, isn't it? But we'll keep it
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we'll keep that silent. But no, you're right, man. Like nostalgia is powerful, not just from a a career standpoint or whatever, but it's something that's comforting. It's from a simpler time or whatever. And I love the idea that, like you said, He-Man,
Yeah.
all the stuff that we collected, they're just bits of plastic. Like at its value, they're absolutely meaningless. But if you take a piece of plastic and you form it to look like this, like that means something. It hits you right in the heart. Like, yeah, there we go. We got gold He-Man and a Prince Adam. But it's something that like it means something. It relates to where you were in your life. It relates to hanging out with your friends. For example, like this design is like this is a wax pack of WWF trading cards from 1987, and this I'm not going to open this because I'm not reminded of the cards themselves when I look at this. I'm reminded of my childhood best friend, Mike Field. Like that's what this reminds me of, and that's a meaning that the Topps Trading Card Company didn't instill in this. This is where I was. And if you can take that enthusiasm and somehow infuse it into your work somehow, like that's something that's solely yours, that's a memory, that's meaning, and it's hard as hell, but yeah, if you can pull that off, that's enthusiasm, it's great.
Mate, yeah, it's incredible. And it's just like we're both in our early 40s now, but there was that period of our lives, and in the grand scheme of it, it wasn't a long time. You were probably only talking about like 10 years from the age of being old enough to be able to walk around without pooping your nappy to then collecting things and watching things and buying things, and then being a functioning adult member of society. It's a very small period of our lives, but it's so vivid and it's stuck. It made us all, I think, really.
Absolutely.
And it's the same feeling. Like I was talking to Chris Murray a few weeks ago, and me and him had that feeling about hip hop music when we were kids, and even sneakers like trainers. So what I feel it's worth looking back and digging into what you liked as a kid and seeing if it brings back memories or if it restores a feeling. Some people it might not. But so yeah, like, mate, we've got 18 minutes left.
Oh crap! Yeah.
Evaporated.
Yeah, we're good.
Should we see if anyone's got any questions?
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, this is what happens, everybody, when me and Al hang out. We just start yakking, and then like, oh, it's 3 hours. Now we got to go home.
Yeah, 3 hours spent £60 on beer and going to have it. Spend all Saturday with your head down the toilet.
Yeah. Hey, Daniel's here. What's up, Daniel? Good seeing you, brother.
Yes, Daniel.
My synthwave brother.
Yeah, that's another thing about people bringing people together. Like me and Daniel, we hung out with them. That other brand I've got, the No Club Running Club one, and we shot a video of them running up next to Dunstanburgh Castle, and that was only through meeting him through you, and you met him through Naomi's shop when you had your exhibition on there.
Yeah, dude.
It's outrageous, really.
Yeah, and it was like Daniel came up because I did designs for Reckless Love, and we're both huge Reckless Love fans. And then he came down to the art show at Who's It and What's It, and we hit it off. Nicest guy in I would say, the universe.
I think so. I feel like you're pretty nice. I feel like I'm pretty nice, but
we're okay.
Extra level of niceness.
Yeah, man.
Right, so Aid Mills, who we both know as well.
Hey,
hung out with him in Barcelona a couple of years ago. Ever seen the WWF video Slam Jam? Felt the intro could be a good one for the Signalnoise YouTube.
Really? No. What's up, Aid? No, I've never seen Slam Jam. Have you seen that?
I don't think so. Unless it was one of those ones where they had wrestlers doing music. Wrestlers to music videos, perhaps?
God, I hope so.
I know they used to do that with the NBA. I had like VHSs at home where it was like a music video, but with edited to like Dominique Wilkins doing slam dunks to it and stuff. Right. So yeah, we're not familiar with that one, Aid. You might want to tell us about that another time.
It's not the one where I know there's a GIF flying around of Hulk Hogan playing an electric guitar. So I don't know if that's the one there, but yeah.
Yes.
It's a 90s music video.
Yeah. It's a 90s music video with Randy Savage pressing play on a VHS.
Oh, man, I gotta look that up, Abe. That sounds great.
Nice. Well, it's not a question, but it's more of a statement from Scott, and saying he used to watch the WWF cartoon in the 80s.
Hulk Hogan's Rock and Wrestling is what that cartoon was called.
I missed that.
Dude, it was awesome. Yeah, I used to watch that too, man. Like the main bad guy was like Rowdy Roddy Piper and the Iron Sheik, I think.
Yeah, oh.
Yeah, man. It was when Andre the Giant had his big fro.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Oh, I've got a big recollection of that.
Yeah.
Mate, wrestling. We were speaking earlier, like we're both going down that WWE or network or whatever it's called tonight, catching up on stuff. But I even went down a wormhole last week of watching YouTube stuff because I was getting obsessed with the Ultimate Warrior.
yeah. Show off that figure, man. Ah, it's so rad.
And I ended up watching random YouTube videos because I could remember as a kid when he got Papa Shangu put like a curse on him. And I watched it and it was so bad, man. I remember at the time I was quite scared by it, but he was like vomiting paint and he had like paint dripping out of his hair.
Stuff coming down his face. Yeah.
And then Jake the Snake like nailed him into a coffin. It was madness.
Yeah.
Quite traumatizing. Even as an adult, I watched it and was like, kind of need a beer after that one.
Yeah, man.
Right, so yeah, we're kind of just getting statements. If anyone's got questions, shout them out. If you just want to say statements, then we're good with that.
Yeah, man, I'm down.
So someone's been on a Ghostbusters run, speaking of 80s cartoons.
Nice. The Real Ghostbusters. Holy crap, man. I used to watch a lot of those when I was a kid. That was like it was the right after school cartoon. So I would get home, like run around, deliver all my newspapers. I was a paper boy. Then the Real Ghostbusters would be on. So I'd watch them. Like I've seen so many of those. And there were some legit, like, freaky episodes of that thing. And just, I don't know if anybody here remembers this one, but like there was one where the ghost or the monster got into the skin or the bodies of the Real Ghostbusters. And then they
some possession.
Yeah, and then like they started like all these lumps and stuff started like forming on them, and then like the monster came out of all of them in this ooze goop, like through their pores or something weird, and then like formed into this giant goop monster. It was freaky as hell, man. Like I was legit scared of it.
Shit, I'll have to dig back into that, man.
Yeah.
Right, we've got a question from Aaron. He's a relatively young artist called Graveyard Shift. I've worked with him loads recently doing the CBD brand. He's a great guy with a talented future ahead of him. He's been bringing the 90s X-Man and Spider-Man cartoons back in his household.
Nice.
Reviving his childhood from when he grew up in the 80s, which is great, man. That's like, we all talk about like, yeah, we grew up in the 80s and all that, but we have to remember a lot of people didn't even experience that stuff these days.
Yeah.
So like 90s and probably Simpsons and, like you say, X-Men and Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So Scanline Thoughts is requesting, I'll plant the seed in your head of, how about a Gem and the Holograms poster? Can't get any more 80s than that. Man,
Scanline, what's up, man? Good to see you. Yeah, dude, I was like, Gem and the Holograms, that's another cartoon that was like an after-school cartoon. It was Brave Star was on, and then Gem and the Holograms was on right after it. And so I watched a lot of Gem because I would watch Brave Star and my sister would want to watch Gem. So I saw a lot of it, and it is, you're right, like it is very 80s, like the hot pink, the designs with all the hair, and the Misfits, the bad guy band, who, Gem is weird because there's so many times that the Misfits were legit trying to murder Gem and the Holograms. It was like blowing up stages and things. It's some weird stuff, but yeah, I would love to do like a Gem and the Holograms poster. I was excited when they announced the live action movie a few years ago, and then it like wasn't Gem at all. But yeah, a cartoon based Gem and the Holograms would be super fun. Yeah, Scanline.
Yeah, I recognize the name. I'll have to look into it. I can't really picture it. Like another thing from the 80s that I loved, but I never played with because it was like, that's a girl's thing. But My Little Pony.
Oh yeah.
I'd love to see, like, I can imagine you would do a sick My Little Pony piece with like the rainbow chrome color tail.
That'd be fun, man. And again, I have a link to My Little Pony too, because at the time that I was into He-Man, the Masters of the Universe, my sister was into My Little Pony. So Angela would have those, and Mom and Dad actually bought Angela one year for Christmas the big pink My Little Pony castle. So Angela had the castle of the My Little Pony castle, and I had Snake Mountain from
Oh,
me, man.
yeah.
So we would have battles, and well, no, actually, I would have battles, and Angela would tell me to get the hell away from her. It's like, yeah,
Mate,
the Moss Man is
I
doing
think it's
things.
like obviously you're quite biased, loving having a lot of your work inspired by that, but I don't know if it was just because we grew up around them, but it feels like someone saying there, like, yeah, Mask, I can love Mask, Care Bears. Like we had all the classic stuff when we were kids, but
Yeah.
I don't feel like the kids these days have got like any cult like cartoons really.
Yeah.
I probably have.
Yeah, it's weird, man. Like, every time I hang out with my sister, like I have a niece and nephew, and Banner, my nephew, is, oh man, I think he's 8 years old, eight or nine. Oh, I'm a terrible uncle. But yeah, I'm always asking my sister and Trevor, my brother-in-law, like, what is he into? You know, like, what is he? Because that was the age that I was super into Masters of the Universe. So I would like, well, what's his thing? It is different now, man. You know, the medium is different. There's no Saturday morning cartoons anymore. Like, so cartoons are just kind of ubiquitous in children's life. Like when you have access to something all the time, it makes it less special. At least that's what I think. You know, we're old men now. It doesn't matter what we think, but you know, it's a different processing of the medium because we had to hunt that stuff down. We had to wait until it was on TV, right? But
because actually, what was it like in Canada? Like, how many TV channels did you have at your disposal? Because we had 4.
Right. Well,
what
it was so cold we had to use. There was a crank on the back of the TV, so we had to like crank the TV to get. It's not true. No, we had when I was a kid, we had I think 10 or 12 channels. We had a big like floor model TV, one of those big ones, the wooden ones that sat on the floor.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we had one of those growing up, and the dial had 12 channels on it. So I think there was maybe 20 total. We lived in Ontario at the time, Kingston, Ontario, and I remember Scooby-Doo was on Channel 4. I still remember that in my head. And Channel 8 was the French channel. We had one channel that was always French.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
So even to this day, the number 8 to me represents French. Like it's still in there. Yeah. But
amazing.
Yeah. And like, yeah, man.
Yeah, we haven't talked much about art. Well, we've talked about art stuff.
Yeah.
I guess people are used to you chatting about art all the time.
Yeah.
They know you, they see you in conferences. So this is just an extra little insight to talking about the shit that floats out.
Yep, we're talking about the shit that floats out now.
But yeah, your mom's in here. She said Banner's 9.
Hey, is Mom in here? Where's Mom?
She is.
Oh, she is here. Hey, my mom is DG White 001. Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. There's Al.
There's James.
Yeah. We got the White family here. Woohoo!
Amazing.
Yeah.
Right. So we've literally only got about 6 minutes, and then we're going to get kicked off. But this has been great, man. Thank you for giving up an hour of your highly busy Good Friday.
Hey, man, I appreciate you paying the invoice when I send it to you. So,
yeah, man, I'll get my receptionist to handle it.
Yeah. Hey, can you go? Where's Blue at?
Down here.
Oh yeah, Mom and Dad would love to see. Hey, everybody, we're gonna see Al's dog Blue. He's a celebrity around here.
He's busy sleeping.
Oh, Blue.
Where's Uncle James?
How's my boy?
He's like, I'm looking at the magpies out the window.
Yeah, he's like, get me away from this thing. Oh, Blue. Yeah, Blue. Like,
who's that?
Ooh, Blue.
No, he's not out the window. He's on the.
We should have just did this with the live chat the whole time.
Yeah.
Just like me trying to get Blue's attention.
Oh, he's not good.
Oh yeah, poor boy. Thanks, Blue.
He's like, yeah, he's gone back there.
Yeah, man. No, this was fun. Who's your next guest, man?
I haven't decided. I play it like year by year. The plan is I'm going to basically chat to pretty much the majority of people I've worked with if they want to talk, obviously. But we need to do a few tests. I've been speaking to Short, who's in Portland, Oregon, but he's originally French.
Right.
So we just need to do a little test to see if, like, obviously English isn't first language for a lot of the artists that I work with, and me being a northern monkey, it might not be easy to conversate properly, but we'll give it a try. got loads of artists in Australia. So I think next up we'll probably go to one of the Australian legends. But yeah, so what's next for you in terms of your live streams? Every Wednesday, 9 p.m. is it?
Yeah.
You and Gav?
Yeah. Hustlemania Online. So it's just me and Gav like being goddamn dorks and talking about art and design and creativity and stuff. New YouTube video will be out on Sunday afternoon or Sunday evening, and hopefully Off the Grid #3 will be out hopefully sometime soon. I might have a pre-sale on that based on the reactions. So we'll see how that goes. It's delayed because of circumstances. So
yeah, that's the problem.
When is your next one anyway? When's your next stream?
The next stream, I do it every Tuesday, every Friday. Trying to do 2 a week. Just and it's not even while this thing lasts. Like I'll keep doing them. I think perhaps I might not be able to do 2 a week, but if I can do one a week for the foreseeable future,
yeah.
And then no reason why I can't go back and like reconnect with people we've already spoke to as well and see how things have changed post pandemic.
Yeah, exactly. Post-demic.
Peter Pandemic.
Yeah, that's right.
Mate, I tell you what, we're looking forward to haircuts, man.
Oh, geez, I tell you, like this is I got it going back on the sides now. Like it's gonna reach critical mass at some point.
How long will it be before Naomi picks up some shears?
Not long. I told her that I'm gonna have to get her to shave something in the back of my head, like a British swear word.
Mate, incredible. I'll tell you what, mate, I'm gonna let you go, but let's try and catch up early next week, and we'll just chat about stuff.
Yeah, whatever, man. Anytime.
In general.
Always a pleasure, man. And thank you very much, everybody, for coming and hanging out. Much appreciated. Great seeing all you guys.
Right. Have a brilliant weekend, mate.
You too, brother. Safe. Thanks for everything, man.
See you soon. All right, guys. Hope you all enjoyed that. That was super fun. So yeah, like we said before, we'll be back on Tuesday, and I'll announce probably tomorrow or Easter Sunday who we'll be chatting to. So yeah, enjoy your bank holiday weekend. I know there's not much you can do, but stay safe, enjoy it, and we'll see you on Tuesday. Peace!